In this video, we're going to go over the CSS web colors. Now, colors are important, of course. You want to add colors to your websites. Now, there are three, of course, we have been adding colors. We have been using the red, the yellow, the blue, and all that. But there are three major ways in which you can add colors to your website. And the first one is the RGB CSS value. And the second one is the hex code, by using the CSS hex code to add colors to your website. And the last one is the red, the yellow, the blue, something we've been doing. Now I'm going to give you an example of how to add the CSS RGB value and also the hex code. Now, and I'm also going to introduce a new CSS property, which is called the background color. Now we are adding this background color to our body, so the background color now will be applied to everything inside our body elements. So now concerning the CSS RGB property, it's simply RGB. Now you can first things first, I strongly recommend you do a Google search on how this CSS RGB value works, because I don't really use the CSS RGB value. I normally use the CSS hex code or the CSS normal colors we have. But I don't really use the CSS RGB value, so I strongly recommend you do a Google search on how this works. But I think for this is the parameter for the red color, and this is a parameter for the green color, and this is a parameter for the blue. So I think the higher number you use here, the higher red color you get for your website. The higher number you use here, the higher green color you get, and the higher number you use here, the higher blue color you get. So I think that's how that works. But I still think you need to do a Google search on how it works. So we're not going to be using the RGB value in this video. Now let me show you an example of the hex code. For the hex code, you use a pound sign, and I have this color here. So let me use it. Use a pound sign F99. Now let's refresh this now. Now this, you can see now we have a background color for our website. Now you can also for the hex code, I still recommend you do a Google search, because this hex code is hard to to remember them. They are quite many. There are many hex codes. So I still think you should do a Google search on how to use them and how they work as well. So we're not going to be using the hex code for this tutorial as well. We're just going to be using a normal color. Then you can use the red, yellow, blue for your background color, anyone you want, but I'm simply going to use this color I have here. It's called the Bollywood. So this is the color we're going to be using for our tutorials onwards. So now we refresh. This is the color we're going to be using for our tutorials. Okay, now so that is the CSS web colors. You can use the RGB values, you can use the hex code, or you can use your normal color, but I still recommend you do a Google search on how the CSS RGB values works, and also the hex code. Yeah, so that will be it for this video. I will see you guys in the next video.